Good day, everyone. I'm Karen Bonadio, Senior Director of Alumni Relations. Thank you so much for joining us for today's Zoom webinar, Maximizing Your Career Resources with Jack, featuring colleagues from the Office of Career Advancement, Sarah DeLuca and Paula Cosera. This is an opportunity for alumni to learn about this important career resource and ask any questions. Please note this webinar is being recorded and will be shared online afterwards. So I'll toss it to Paula and Sarah. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Awesome. Thank you, Karen. Thank you to the Alumni Office for setting this up for us. We love Jack. We have a fantastic relationship with Jack. We consider it to be a huge part of our office and a foundation of what we do in OCA, because Jack covers so many things that we do. And we're going to go over the various components of Jack that we think are most applicable to you all. Jack has been around since, I believe, 2007 we launched. And so if you graduated between then and now, you probably had an account when you were a student, and then we transitioned it over for you to alumni status. But it's changed a little bit since then. You might realize, even just looking at this landing screen, that things look a little different than maybe they looked when you last logged in. We've also spent a lot of time trying to improve Jack over the years and provide additional information through the system, specifically for things that are helpful to alumni. So if you have not created a Jack account yet, we would love for you to do that after this webinar. We want you to follow along and take notes and all of that, and then you can create your account afterwards. It does not take a long time. We can put the link in the chat and you will use your Harvard key to create it. So before I pass it on to Sarah, who's going to go over some of the resources in Jack, you might be saying, well, what is Jack, right? It's a career management system that basically is our hub. And so you will use Jack for looking at jobs. You'll use Jack for making coaching appointments, RSVPing for events. Maybe you're looking for a resume template, things like that. There's all sorts of different things in Jack that are available to you for life as an alum. And if you're ever having trouble navigating Jack, or if you can't find something that you think should be there, you're always welcome to reach out to us. There's actually an email button on there that we have a dedicated email that comes into us called Career Jack that we can troubleshoot any issues that you have. For the most part, Jack works really well. We don't typically have issues, but every now and then someone might have a little challenge that folks will need help with. So that's kind of the overview of what it is. And so it's been around a long time. There's been updates and things like that. And it's a really, really great resource. And so Sarah, so a little bit about the agenda for today. So Sarah's going to go over the resources that are available to you in Jack. And by resources, we mean different types of documents that tell you all sorts of different things. Then she's going to go over coaching. So career coaching appointments that you can sign up for. And if you took advantage of our spring break career coaching, this is a little different than that, a different way to sign up. And then she's going to hand it back over to me, and I'm going to go over the events that you can see right there where it says upcoming events. We're going to talk a little bit about what that looks like and how you can RSVP for these events. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about job postings, and we're going to talk about saved searches within the job postings. And then at the end, we're going to leave time for Q&A. With that said, if you have questions as we're talking, you can feel free to put them in the chat. We'll do our best to answer ones in real time as we're trying to navigate and talk to you as well. If we don't get to them, we'll get to them at the end. So we do have a hard stop at 1 o'clock, so we're going to do our best to cover as much as we can in that amount of time without talking too quickly and overwhelming you. So, but again, if questions come up, feel free. So for now, I'm going to hand it over to Sarah, who's going to go over the resources within Jack.
Wonderful. Thank you, Paula. So before we get into the specifics of signing up for appointments or events, I wanted to take a second to highlight this Access Career Resources tile on your homepage. So as Paula mentioned, if you've logged into Jack before, you might recognize this homepage. If you haven't, this is what your homepage is going to look like. Most of the things we're going to be navigating are going to be on this top menu bar up here or on these tiles on your homepage. So really easy to get to, and we'll make sure to walk through all of it. Now, Jack is one great tool if you are going through a job search or exploring a pivot. And we have this Access Career Resources tile here, which actually shares a bunch of other tools through OCA, as well as some others that we provide for you that might be through other parts of HKS or other sort of platforms that are available to you as an HKS alum. So once I click into this tile, you can really take some time to go through this. There's a lot of great information, as Paula mentioned, that includes maybe career skills worksheets about LinkedIn, networking. Those resume templates Paula mentioned are in here. We also have industry-specific worksheets, guides, presentations that we've done, and all of it is being reviewed frequently to make sure it's still up to date, and all of this here is applicable for you as well. We link to the HKS library resources for alumni, and you'll see the links up on the top right-hand side here. You'll see job search resources, external job banks. So we subscribe to a bunch of other job banks outside of just Jack that you have access to. So we've made sure to include the logins for all of those that you can use as another tool in your job search. So before we talked about coaching or events or any of the other various things we have in Jack, we wanted to take a moment to just highlight that all of these resources are here. There's multiple pages of resources. It's pretty well fleshed out. So we definitely recommend you take a look at that if you are in the process of a job search at the moment. So with that, I'm going to go back to the homepage here, and we're going to talk about scheduling a career coaching appointment. So as an HKS alum, you can schedule a one-on-one coaching appointment with a member of our coaching team at any point during the year that would be helpful for you. The way you're going to set up that appointment is just through this career coaching tab up on the top right-hand corner of your homepage. So once you click there, you'll see a red schedule a career coaching appointment button, and that will take you to the calendar scheduler for appointments. So maybe you met with a career coach while you were at HKS, maybe this is your first time. We recommend, if you haven't met with a coach before and you don't have someone specific in mind, you can hover over our coaches to see information about maybe what they're focused on. But really, we recommend just scrolling right down to the bottom here and clicking check availability. The reason why I say this is because it will show you all availability for all coaches for the next 3 weeks or so. And so sometimes if you're just trying to have a getting started appointment, that can be the best place to start. Of course, if you do have a coach that you've met with that you want to stick with, so for example, if I wanted to meet with Mary, I can select her from the coach list on the left-hand side here and just refine results. And that will show me just Mary's availability. A few things to note, some appointments are available for in-person meetings. Most are also available for virtual. You can see that underneath the time slot here. This is virtual, this is in-person or virtual. So once you find a day and time that works for you, I'll just show you how that process looks. So for example, if I wanted to meet with Mary on Monday, March 31st at 1, I'm just going to click on that time slot here. And an appointment form will show up that you can fill out just with some information about what you're hoping to talk about during your appointment. So you can do the type of appointment. So for example, maybe I want this to be a job search strategy appointment. This is going to be virtual over Zoom. You put in your phone number, and then just a note to the career coach about what you want to talk about. So maybe you have a very specific idea you want to discuss, or a job posting you're hoping to apply to that you want to talk about, or maybe it's more general and you're just looking to pivot and want to brainstorm. Any of that is absolutely fine. We just ask that you put a quick note into the notes section here. So for example, I can say job search strategy. I'll say, let's see, looking to pivot to energy policy in state government, for example. There's also a section here where you can include an attachment. So if you're looking for a resume or cover letter review, you can add that document for the coach to see, for you to review. You can also include, if there's a particular posting that you're looking to apply to and want to share that with the coach in advance, you can also add that here through this attachment option. So with that, once you fill out the form, you just click the submit request button, and you'll see an upcoming appointment section will appear with that information. There's a red button that says show meeting information. That will have the Zoom meeting if it's a virtual meeting. You also can reschedule or cancel from this screen. So for example, if I were to log into Jack later after scheduling a career coaching appointment because I'm like, oh, that time might not work for me anymore, you just go back to that career coaching tab and those 3 dots next to your upcoming appointment, and you'll see a cancel or reschedule option. So reschedule will take you right back to the scheduler, leave all that information you filled out in your form. Just for your convenience, you pick a new time and you're all set. cancellation, similarly, just hit the cancel button. It'll ask you for a quick reason about why you're canceling, and you're all set. The one caveat I will mention about that is if it is within 24 hours of your appointment time, that little sort of 3-dot section won't show up, just so that we can let our coaches know. We ask that you email us or give us a call if it's within 24 hours and you know you can no longer make your appointment. We've also highlighted that up here in blue if it's within 24 hours to let us know. So with that, I will turn it back over to Paula to talk about the next section.
I would just add one more thing about coaching before we wrap up that section. You can make one coaching appointment at a time. So unlike spring break, where if you participated in that, it would have allowed you to make more than one, this will only allow you to make one coaching appointment at a time. So just keep that in mind as well.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go over to events. So we have a handful of upcoming events that are open to you as alumni, and events could be a combination of panels. As you can see, the first one there is an upcoming alumni panel that we have going on. We also have what we call employer briefings, which if you graduated in the last 15 or 20 years or so, you probably remember that from when you were a student. If you were before that, they may have been called something different. I've been here 18 years. I don't know what they were called before I joined, but basically it's an info session from employers that are hiring. So many of them are open to alumni as well. So if they are open to hiring alumni, like if it's not an on-campus cyclical type hiring thing, then we will open these up to you and you're always welcome to join. Most of them are virtual nowadays, so over Zoom, so pretty easy for you to join. May not be ideal depending on what time zone you're in, but if you're able to join, please do. We do ask to please only RSVP if you're sure you're going to make it. Obviously, we know there's emergencies, then illnesses and things that come up, but we do provide numbers to employers in advance, and they do have, we do like to give them an accurate representation of what that will look like. So Sarah, if you can click into maybe that briefing for tomorrow, the Institute of Public Finance. So if you were looking at this and you're like, oh, let me read about them. That sounds really interesting. That sounds right up my alley. Great, and I can make it at that time. So you can click on that little red button, and that will register you for the event. And you have all the Zoom information right there where you can log in, and super easy to be able to join. And then if something comes up and you can no longer make it, you can click on the cancel button so that we know that you're not able to attend. So literally, like, that's how easy it is to register for these events. Some events are space limited and will fill up. So if you do go into an event and it's not allowing you to RSVP, it might say join waitlist instead. That is why. And then if spots open up, you will get an email notifying you that you've been moved off the wait list to the event. So most of our events are not space limited, especially if they're on Zoom, but occasionally we may come across that. So we would encourage you to attend. If you're engaged actively in a job search, I think it's just helpful to get back in this mode of hearing from employers and hearing what they're looking for and asking questions about how you can best market yourself and things like that. Even if it's not a perfect match, just to get yourself back thinking that way, right? I think it can be really, really helpful. So I would encourage you to attend. Employer briefings are starting to slow down this time of year, I'll be honest, but we will definitely have some popping up here and there. So I would encourage you to check back often and see what's out there for you. And I would love to see you. I attend all these sessions, so I would love to see some of you over Zoom. So that's it, I think, about events. Sarah, did I miss anything? Oh, I do want to give a plug for one event. If you can scroll down, Sarah, to the state and local. So on April 18th, we are doing a state and local government career fair that is open to alumni. It's on campus. There's no virtual option. So obviously, if you live far away, it could be challenging for you. But if you have some airline miles and you want to come and join us, please feel free. You are more than welcome. It's 11:45 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Friday, April 18th. We've got about 25 employers that have committed to come so far, and we're hoping to get that number up to 35 or 40. So very domestic, however, this is our pilot year, so we're keeping it domestic for the most part. But very geographically diverse. So if you click on the See All button next to the logos there, you can see everybody that's registered so far, and there'll be more employers registering every day. So please come if you can. If you're thinking about exploring opportunities in state and local government, this would be a really great opportunity for you. These employers know that alumni may be there for immediate roles and more senior level roles. They are prepared to talk to you. So you are encouraged to attend. So please RSVP if you're interested. We'd love to have you. So that's it about events. Pretty straightforward. So we're going to transition now over to job postings. So if you're actively looking for a job, you're probably visiting lots of different job boards. And that's great. You should be, because they have different postings. They're not, many employers don't post their jobs everywhere. They may pick one or two places. So if you're only looking at one place, then you're probably missing job postings, right? So LinkedIn's great. Indeed, depending on what industry you're interested in, there are industry specific job boards. There are obviously geographic focused job boards. So whatever it is, put together a list of what's helpful to you. The Jack job board is just one tool of many. Now, we don't have tens of thousands of jobs in Jack, but what we do have is vetted jobs that are appropriate for HKS students or alumni, right? So as you can imagine, it's primarily a student job board. So a lot of the jobs are student level appropriate. However, we have mid-careers, right? And so there are director level jobs. There are also employers that are recruiting off cycle and want specifically alumni. So they might post a job in December for a director, VP, something of that level, perhaps manager level, knowing that there are alumni looking at the job board. So there are positions in there for you. The other thing that I think makes our job board really special, and Sarah's gonna give us a little demo of this in a minute, is that when we get a job that was sent to us by another alum, we tag it as such. So that job was sent by a fellow Kennedy School alum who works at that organization, who would love to see other alumni work there. So to me, that's invaluable, because that they respect Kennedy School talent. That there's someone there that might be able to reach out, that you could reach out to through LinkedIn or alumni directory. It's just a really nice, I think, added feature that we have that no one else has, right? Obviously on LinkedIn, if an alum posted it, you'd be able to, see the connection and all of that. But I think this is so much easier. So as you'll see at the front of the job title, we put a little star that says via HKS alum. So that job was sent to us by an alum. So it's a really nice feature. Our job board, it's like any other. It's pretty straightforward. We work really hard to make sure that the jobs are thorough and accurate. We have a section on the job postings regarding work authorization that we've added in recent years. If you graduated more than 5 years ago, you probably didn't have that when you were here. And if you were an international student, that could have been a point of frustration for you. So just know that we have added that in so that up front if the job is open to your citizenship. So if it's an international job or a domestic job that requires work authorization in the US, occasionally you'll see unknown, and that is just because we've tried to get an answer from them and haven't been able to and didn't want to delay. But the majority of the jobs will be accurate on that front. So we're really proud of the work that we've put into this to make sure that the jobs are thorough and accurate so that you get a really good picture. We also source jobs pretty regularly. We have some student partners that work with us that are sourcing jobs and internships, and so there's constantly jobs being put into the system. They literally get added daily. So what you're seeing today is just a snapshot for today. And you will see more tomorrow. So when you click into the job or into the apply button, it will tell you how to apply. More often than not, it's going to be on the employer's website, right? That's nowadays that everybody wants on their website. Occasionally, you'll see that we're collecting them in Jack, and that just means that we're going to send to that employer in bulk. And they are specifically looking for Kennedy School people, which is great. Occasionally, you'll see both, where they want you to apply on their website and apply in Jack, because that way they can know who from the Kennedy School applied. Sometimes you'll see an email that they want you to email them, and it should also clearly tell you which files they will need. Typically it's just a resume and cover letter, but sometimes there's a writing sample or something like that that they'll want as well. So just make sure you're reading it carefully and applying with what you need. So again, really great feature, really great resource, but one of many job boards that you should be utilizing as an alum. So Sarah, do you mind going over the save chat for that, save search for them?
Yeah, so just another quick resource we want to highlight on the job board. So as you saw, I typed alum because I knew that the HKS alum is the tag for job opportunities that were shared by an HKS alum. So I typed an alum to the search bar here, and that's how I got this list. If you use this as your example, or maybe you have a keyword you want to put in and you want to get job opportunities that are being added that have that keyword sent directly to you, so you don't have to be checking the database every day, we have a really great sort of job alert feature that we want you to be aware of. So after you submit your search, and that can be through the filters, it can be a keyword search, you're going to see this create job alert button has shown up. So I'm just going to click on that, and you'll see a green bar appear across the top saying you'll now get job alerts for this search. If you go into the little settings wheel here next to create job alert, you will be able to see the ones that you have set up, and you can determine, do you want email updates daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, to adjust how frequently you want the system to be emailing you with new opportunities that have been added that fit your saved search. So maybe as an alum, you want to filter by full-time and alum, just as an example. So it's really up to you. You can personalize it as you like, decide how much you want Jack to be emailing you. But it's a really great feature that can help, so you don't have to be constantly logging in to check for new opportunities if you have a sort of specific thing you're focusing on. So just wanted to mention that as well.
Sarah, maybe you could expand based on Michael's question in the chat. If you could expand the more filters there so that people could get a sense of like the different things they can filter on.
Yep. Yep. So we have it by, let's see, when it was posted, we have position type if you wanted to do full-time, remote, in person. Let's see, a bunch of other things. Industry, sponsorship, which is really helpful sometimes, region. I would say if you're looking for a specific level, or you know there's specific language like director roles like Paula mentioned, then I recommend using that as a keyword search.
Yes. There was another question that came in privately to me regarding if you're searching for jobs and then you get the note that says not qualified, what does that mean? It can mean a couple different things. My understanding is that it's often based on like alum versus student. Is that right, Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'll likely see that most frequently probably for summer internships as an alum, if the employer selected that they only want students for a particular posting. Again, internships are usually the context in which that happens. Not always. Some of them are open to recent graduates as well, but that's usually why you'll see that sort of not qualified flag show up there.
Yeah, so based on, so I would just say to, I know the person that asked the question said that she hadn't yet had a chance to kind of fill out her profile and stuff. It's not necessarily pulling info from your profile, but it is important to know that make sure you have the right year of graduation listed on your profile. Sometimes people put like the current year, like they're just doing it quickly and they just, you know, it happens all the time. So just make sure that you've got, you know, so that we know that you're an alum when things are filtered by grad year. I hope that answers both of those questions. And if that's coming up often for you, the person that asked that question, I'm not going to out you with your name since you sent it privately. Just let us know, because that would mean that there's something else going on. But if you only see it on like 1 or 2 jobs here and there, that would be why. All right. I think we're good with job postings. I don't see any other questions on that topic in the chat. So I think we can just kind of open it up for general questions now. So you can put them in the chat. You can send them privately, publicly. You can raise your virtual hand and ask them live, whatever's most comfortable for you. Or perhaps we did such a great job covering everything that nobody has any questions, which would be fine too. Oh, how to post a job opportunity. This is a great question. Thank you, Vicky, for asking that question. So if you are an alum that would like to advertise an opportunity for other alumni or students, there's actually a different portal that you go through that you will have a employer account. So you can't actually post a job through this view. So you have two options. You can create an employer account and post the job yourself, and we can put the link in the chat for that entry point, or you can simply email the job to us and we will post it for you. So if it's something that you want posted quickly, it is quicker to post it yourself because we have the constant kind of backlog of jobs that we're going through and trying to get posted as quickly as possible. But if it's a little bit longer lead time and you want to just email it to us because you're really busy, that's fine too. So I hope that's helpful. Oh, Ellen, I'm glad that the coaching session was helpful for you. That's great. Looks like Judith has a hand up, so go ahead.
Hello.
Hi.
And I actually I'm going to say good morning because I'm in Texas, so
Okay, good morning.
different time zone. Thank you all so much for this update. I remember when this program came out, but I frankly had not. I love to see, as they say, the new and improved versions, right? Question regarding resume. Could you all, or would you, do you have this as a service, do a resume review?
You want to talk about that, Sarah?
Yeah, absolutely. So our coaching team is always happy to do resume reviews, cover letters, any job application materials. You're always welcome to. We recommend scheduling a coaching appointment through that coaching appointment tab up on the top right. You can pick any of our career coaches, would be happy to do that with you. Again, if you want to look at what they specifically like to chat about, you're welcome to, but they're all perfectly happy to do a resume review. So when you schedule a coaching appointment, you just cancel this really quick. Again, you can sort of hover over and see if there is a particular topic area that you're interested in or someone that has a background that aligns with yours. You're welcome to do that. But again, yeah, absolutely. We do resume reviews. As Paula mentioned, we also have resume resources if you want to peruse those prior to an appointment, if you're sort of revamping it for the first time in a while, just under the sort of access career resources tile that I spoke about at the beginning.
And the resume templates that we have in there as samples are templates that we've run by recruiters and alumni over the years that have said that they're really user friendly and easy to read and review. So if you're looking for a new template, that can be really helpful to you. And you can put it in the template before your appointment, then we can really just kind of focus on content. But really the coaching appointments are meant to focus on the content of the resume, not necessarily the format. Though if you want advice, like what format is better for my industry, for example, we can do that too. So no limit on that. And so a related question came in the chat. Can you share a little bit more about the add a resume tile? What happens with your resume and have alumni found it to be helpful? Any tips on what kind of resume to submit? So
Yeah.
we can go to that tile that they're referring to.
Yeah. So Jack has a really wonderful feature where it will allow you to sort of keep job application, job search documents in your profile. When you upload a document here, it is private. It is not being shared with employers. It's just a helpful place that you can keep your documents. Either maybe you want to go over with a resume with a career coach. Maybe you're working on various versions of your resume or cover letters for jobs that you're applying for in the system. So you can always use this to manage documents, keep track of new ones that you're making. You just click the red add new button here, and it will ask you to fill out what type of document is it? Is it a resume, writing sample, transcript, etc. We usually recommend using a PDF if you are able to, just so the formatting stays consistent. But yeah, the documents feature is great in Jack, and we highly recommend taking advantage of it if you have a lot of different application materials sort of happening for you at the same time.
Can I do a follow-up there? Thanks for that information. I saw resume book. Is that different than uploading to my documents? And is that shared with
Yeah.
employers
So
then?
we don't currently have any opt-in resume books at the moment. So when you go to that tab, you won't see anything appearing. So for now, Paula, right, I think you can sort of ignore that tab.
Yes.
But that's a great question.
Thank you.
Yes, so question about coaching for tech. Hi Karen, good to see your name. We won't be hiring anyone soon because we're actually on a hiring freeze at HKS, so that's not an option. But as far as tech, all the coaches can cover tech. I would say Yulia in particular is strong on the tech stuff. So if you did want to make an appointment, I would encourage you to do so with Yulia. We might need to have her update her bio if it's not in there. I apologize.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What percentage of the jobs posted here are require American citizenship or residency, and how many are for non-US citizens?
I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I would say that we're always working hard to try to get international opportunities posted in Jack. There's a lot of great resources as well. We're going to be launching something very soon that's going to help with that topic as well, specifically for helping you know which organizations within the US will consider non-US citizens for roles. We're going to be rolling that out in the next couple of weeks. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Like I said, we do our best to source positions both in the US that will consider non-US citizens, but then also international positions. But again, this is one resource of many, and it's certainly not perfect. And I would say that probably, if I had to guess, somewhere between half and 2/3 of our positions are probably US based. And of those, I would say a large percentage, because we are posting a lot of government and nonprofit roles, would require US work authorization. But there's lots of, depending on what you're looking for, there's lots of other resources available, things like DevX, things like Going Global, and then InnerStride, which we will be launching, can be really, really helpful in doing a job search, especially if you're looking to work in a country that you are not a citizen of. So a coaching appointment can be really helpful in helping you navigate that as well. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you so much.
Just one quick note before we take another question, related to emails. So something I just like to add when talking to alumni about working in Jack is if you are using a account from quite a while ago and you're just logging in again rather than starting from the beginning of accessing Jack, please make sure that you update your email address to an active email. So I know I went over save searches in the job function. So for example, if your email is not up to date, you won't get those emails from the system. So that's just something we like to recommend. You can do that up here at your initials in the top right corner under my account. So we definitely recommend updating your email address to be a current one if you haven't already.
Great. We had a question about coaching and infrastructure and private companies. So the tech question came up earlier. So Yulia is probably the best coach to talk to about tech, though anyone could certainly be helpful. And then infrastructure, probably Glenn on our team would probably be the best fit for that. So maybe start with Glenn, have an appointment with him, and then you can always do a follow-up appointment with someone else if you have other things that you want to talk about. Let's see. Email address question was answered. Right?
Hi, sorry, could you answer the question about, it's Michael, thanks, climate change, who would be the best for climate change, and then / investing?
So anything finance related, Glenn is our guy. He is our finance for good guru, all things like infrastructure, anything related to finance, Glenn is who do you want to talk to? And then what was the other topic you mentioned? Sorry.
Climate.
Thanks, yeah.
Climate, yeah. So climate, I mean, I feel like anybody can probably cover that topic. I think Yulia is good with climate. I know Natasha does a little bit on climate as well. I mean, they honestly, they all can. So I think that's another example of maybe start with Glenn. And then if you feel that, you know, you need an additional appointment to talk about some of the other things you're interested in, then you can certainly do that.
Thank you, Leonard, for sharing that resource in the chat as well.
Yes, Leonard is always super knowledgeable on that topic. I think all the other questions are kind of getting answered by members of the alumni office team, so thank you for that. Who's a good coach? Strategy consulting, foundations, grants. Okay, so coaching, so strategy consulting would be Glenn. He himself was a strategy consultant at one point in his career. Foundations and grants would be Natasha. So you could start with either of them. Do you include positions at HKS on Harvard? Oh, this is a great
Good
question.
question.
Yeah, so you'd want to just go to the, we do sometimes post positions that are open at HKS and Harvard, but the best place for that would be the Harvard website. Keeping in mind that there is a university-wide hiring freeze right now. There are some jobs that are being filled, like backfilled, but for the most part, it's going to be slower than it has been, unfortunately, for now. Email questions. Okay.
We got everything else.
I have another question. Are you being overwhelmed now, given how many people are getting fired? Is it much harder to do your job than before, or is it just about the same?
I wouldn't say it's harder to do our job. I would just say we're really busy. We are really busy, and we are, you know, trying to put together additional programming to support people that are in that situation. So we are doing probably more programming than we've ever done before. So we are really busy, but you know, it's all good stuff. And I think what's been really, really positive in all of this is that we've had so many alumni reach out asking how they can be helpful to fellow alumni. And that is a nice reminder of what's so amazing about this community. So many alums have said, I'll send you job postings, or I'll, like, if you have people interested in my organization, you know, like, so we're trying to keep a list and stuff. So when those, we don't want to overwhelm them, but if there's a good match where, you know, they could potentially be helpful, we're trying to do that. So yeah, it's challenging for sure, but we're going to get through it. And this community is awesome. So, and that's part of too why we're looking, like, creating that state and local government opportunity, so that people that maybe we're looking at federal government that don't have that opportunity right now, maybe could get, you know, a similar opportunity working for a city or a state. So we're trying to think creatively of where the opportunities are, and really kind of focus on that sort of thing. So yeah, it's a good question. Let's see. I don't think we missed any questions. I think we got all of them.
Yeah, and Karen just shared our alumni resources page as well. That's live with a bunch of the things you mentioned as well.
We're doing our best to keep up and try to provide as many opportunities for you as we can. And but it's definitely a busy time. Judith, go ahead.
Thank you, Paula. In regards to the event that you said was going to be in person in April, do you in the sense of what the different cities and states and localities are going to be advertising or pursuing employees, will it be at different levels? You know, not, I'm just going to say it, not just internships. I just needed
Yeah,
to.
no, we're actually,
Okay.
it's actually kind of late for internships, to be honest, that time of year. Some of them will have internships, but the most of them will be full-time jobs. That's really the focus of this event. I would assume that most of the places have, you know, jobs at various levels. I am currently in the process now that they are registered. Now I am in the process of getting jobs, like specific jobs from them. I actually have a meeting right after this about that specific topic. And what we're going to do is we're going to post those opportunities in Jack on the Jack job board with like S and L, not SNL like Saturday Night Live, but S and L at the beginning of the job title, so that you can do a quick search on SNL and any jobs that are tied to this event, like for the organizations that are coming to the event, you'll be able to see the jobs that they're actively recruiting for. But I would say what your best bet would be to take a look at who's coming and then go on their city or state website and see the types of opportunities that they have open. Obviously, the larger the city, the higher likelihood they have of having positions at all levels. If it's a smaller city, you know, they might only be hiring for 1 or 2 or 3 roles, right? Whereas a larger city like Chicago, New York, Boston, they're going to have dozens and dozens of roles open. So that would be my strategy. We're also, this is not the only list, you know, we're going to have more employers registering over the next week or so. So you might want to hold off for a week and kind of see who's actually on the final list. We're following up and getting more people registered, and we're hoping to get more into like around 35 or so employers. So this should be a good blend of all different levels of roles.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all very much.
Of course. We hope you can make it. Let's see. Thank you for sharing resume templates. I missed where it is located. Sarah, can you navigate over to the resume templates again, please?
Under these career resources tab here, this is where you're going to find them. You can just search resume to pull them up quickly.
And there's a couple different ones, like, you know, they're labeled MPP, MPA. You know, you all would probably want to use the mid-career template. It's really meant more for, you know, people that have some experience that can be summarized at the top. But you can use any template you like. It's really just a helpful guide. Or some people, what they do is they'll download our template and they'll kind of work from that, but they'll change it up like a little bit, right? To a style that resonates with them a little bit more. So, and there's really great ones online, by the way. So if you just Google resume templates on Google, like you'll get so many great examples, and just pick one that you think is best represents what you're trying to portray. I would say that the cleaner, the better, unless you're in a creative field that, you know, you're going to have a resume template with all kinds of fancy colors and graphics and things like that. But for everyone else, the cleaner the resume, the better, right? It just makes it easier to read. Think about yourself, and some of you have probably been in hiring roles where you've been reviewing resumes, and who wants to try to find what you're looking for and, you know, all these fancy noisy templates. So the cleaner the better, and ours are very kind of straightforward resume templates. Nothing, no bells and whistles, just straightforward leadership, education, experience, you know, additional applicable things, and that's the gist of it. Any other questions come in that we may have missed? Leonard's putting some really good stuff in the chat. Thank you so much, Leonard. We appreciate that. Any other questions? Thank you, Karen. I'm not seeing any coming in. Share recording. Yes. The alumni office has recorded this session, so they will be able to provide the link to anybody who registered. Jack is new to me. Great. Once you start using it too, I know for me, like sometimes I go to training sessions for things and then I start actually using the product and then I'm like, oh wait, now I have questions. So just if things come up, just message us, or you can't, you know, the last thing we want is you to feel frustrated. We don't want that. So if you need some help, please, by all means, and we will do our best to get back to you in a timely manner, given how busy we are, but we do a pretty good job on staying on top of the emails. So don't be shy about that. That is the best way to reach us, rather than phone call, unless it's something super, super urgent. Any parting thoughts Sarah, Karen, Kristen, anyone from the alumni office, any other things we want to mention?
Thank you all for your great questions. And yeah, as Paula mentioned, if anything comes up later, we're here to help you and help you make the most of the resources we have available. So please don't be shy.
Yes, I just want to say thank you to everyone for joining us today. I mean, working with our new dean, Jeremy Weinstein, we're really trying to respond in real time to the needs of our alumni community during this really difficult time. And everyone, across the board here at the Kennedy School and with our colleagues at the Career Office, we're really thinking like, what can we offer? Where are the learning opportunities? And when we thought of Jack, we were like, oh, this is a great resource that we already have. How do we make sure alumni are aware of it or, teach them about it again? So I just also want to say wholeheartedly, like, thank you to Paul and Sarah for walking us through this. I mean, I learned a lot and I know, we're just here to help the alumni and I really love all the comments I saw in the chat. And I also want to share with you, I mean, we just dropped it this morning, but we're really excited to share that we announced the launch of Navigating Transitions, HKS Insights for Career Resilience. So it's a new faculty-led webinar series exclusively for HKS alumni. And the series will kick off this April. So next week, I think it's on April 2nd, Judy Badalana is the first, and then there's Ron Heifetz and Arthur Brooks and Todd Rogers. We'll offer expert insights and practical strategies for navigating career shifts. And that more information on that, not only did we blast that all out to alumni today, but it's also on that OCA career resources page we shared in the chat as well. And we'll make sure that it's also in our follow-up message to you all when we share the video. So I just want to say thank you to everyone during this difficult time. We are thinking of you and we're here for you. And please, if you have any other additional ideas on programming or opportunities or, initiatives, like please pass them not only to if it's career related, pass them on to the career office, but please, please, please also share them with the alumni relations office. And we look forward to working with all of you. And thank you.